Hair's a mess, but it is what it is. Folks, I'm just getting back from Seattle, and what's going on? It feels good to be back. Took a little vacation for a couple of days, and my God, it was needed. A time for me to reflect, to sit back, to relax, and try to get my thoughts together and figure out where exactly I'm going in this life. I didn't exactly figure all of that out, but I did come back with a great story to share with you guys about the trip that I just took to the West Coast. Folks, one thing that I definitely thought about while taking this trip with my wife was the fact that, I could definitely see myself being somewhat of like a traveling critic. You know, like how Anthony Bourdain used to do like the Parts Unknown, and he would travel and eat food, and he would talk about things, and he would get drunk. I could definitely see myself as being like a traveling critic, going to different places and critiquing every damn thing about those places. And my trip to Seattle will be a perfect example of that. Now, before I go any further, I do want to say that I absolutely had a blast. I enjoyed myself, and Seattle was an absolute beautiful place. Hands down, it was a great place to visit considering I had never been there before. My wife had never been there before neither. We went at the perfect time. It was fall. The leaves were changing colors. It was very, very beautiful. And very laid back, which was something that I wasn't expecting. I'm thinking we're going to a big city. Laid back was not anything that I was expecting at all, but it was. So much, in fact, to the point where people were walking down the street smoking the devil's lettuce. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't catch my fair share of whiffs of the devil's, actually contact highs. That's how blatant in my face it was. Before I actually realized that weed was legal in the state of Washington. Washington State almost feels like it's an entirely different country than the US of A. If I ever move anywhere outside of the Commonwealth of good old VA, I promise you, it's going to be the WA. And actually Seattle, to be more precise. Folks, that place was amazing. But it wouldn't be After Prison Show nor a story that I would be sharing with you guys if I didn't in fact have a story to share with you guys of what this first time experience was exactly like. A lot of things that I saw and learned while I was there. Things that I want to share with you guys, and also, like I was saying at the beginning of all of this, how I want to be like a traveling critic of going to places. You know, I realized that I'm in a position where I'm able to do amazing things. I truly am. And I know a lot of people are not in a position to be able to do that, so it's my hope that when I get to experience things, I get to share them completely and in their entirety with all of you. Completely unbiased and uncut. So folks, sit back, kick back, put your seatbelts on, and prepare for takeoff, because I'm about to take all of y'all to Seattle, Washington right now. You know, my wife and I don't travel as much as we probably could, and I realized during this particular trip, the reason why is because I'm not a very good travel partner. I get a little worked up, I get bothered and aggravated, and this takes place especially on the plane rides. And folks, the plane ride that we would take from the East Coast to the West Coast was through Atlanta. That was our second flight, and it was almost 5 hours long. I've never been on a plane for that long, and folks, I gotta be honest with you, it sucks. It's not very comfortable at all unless you're in first class, and I must assure you guys, we was not. We was in Comfort Plus. You've got 3 different sections of the airplane. You've got Coach, which is regular seating. You've got Comfort Plus, which is supposed to be more leg room and a little more comfort. And then you've got the elite of the elite, the front of the bus, first class. And folks, anytime me and my wife go anywhere, we fly in Comfort Plus. We don't fly in first class. We ain't too fancy for that. We ain't fancy enough for first class. We fly in Comfort Plus. A little too fancy for Coach, but not fancy enough for first class. And yet every time that we are sitting in Comfort Plus, it's not very comfortable. I truly feel like it's a sales tactic by the airline company to sell you a more expensive seat. And every time that we're sitting there, I keep looking over at first class thinking to myself, why can't we be that fancy? Because that looks comfortable. That looks like Comfort Plus, first class, where they address you by your last name and not by your seat number. But regardless, we would take a 4.5, almost 5 hour plane ride to and fro Seattle. And again, just to reiterate, going there and coming back, not very comfortable at all. But let's talk about going there first, because we haven't even gotten to Seattle yet. You know, I am truly of the belief that sometimes, I don't deserve the life that I live. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because every time that I try to experience something, it's always something. And the first something would take place prior to us even getting on the plane to go to Seattle. And that would be that, folks, the plane was actually getting searched by the police. I ain't never seen a plane get searched by the police. I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching this taking place and filming this, I'm thinking to myself, what are they looking for? And are they going to find whatever it is that they are? What if they don't? What if they don't and we get on the plane and then at 34,000 feet? It's got to be because I'm about to board this plane that this plane is getting searched. That's what I'm thinking. Later on, I would think to myself, maybe it was because that plane was coming from Seattle, and in Seattle, the devil's lettuce is legal, but maybe in most of the rest of the country, it's not. Maybe they was looking for the devil's lettuce. A little of that legal greenery. I don't honestly know what they were looking for while searching the plane. I don't know if they even found what they were looking for. Maybe this was just a random search. Maybe they were just trying to meet that quota. But regardless, I was feeling like it's got to be me and the plane that I'm getting ready to get on that the police are sitting here searching. The plane ride to Seattle wasn't too terribly bad. It went by relatively quickly. We got to Seattle and then we had to Uber from the airport to the hotel. Now, one thing that I want to share with you guys, a little FYI, little fun fact, there's a lot of giant tech companies that are based in Seattle. Amazon, Microsoft, and also Uber. Tech mega companies are based out of Seattle, which makes a lot of sense when you think about what the average rent in Seattle is. The lowest that I saw rent out there was $2,500 for like a 500 square foot apartment or a box. I saw rent in Seattle as high as $8,000, even upwards, and folks, I'm not even kidding, upwards of $20,000+. Is that a month? $20,000+ a month. You are paying $240,000+ a year just in rent. You could buy a house for that and pay it off in a year. But getting back to the Uber from the airport, one thing that I realized was all of the Ubers out there are Toyota Priuses. I would do a little research and realize that the reason for that is because of how economical that car is. No matter how uncool a Toyota Prius may be, if you're an Uber driver, you damn well better invest you in a Toyota Prius. Because those things get exceptional gas mileage, I'm guessing. And it would be a Toyota Prius that we would take from the airport to the hotel. But it had to be us. It had to be me. And the Uber that I ordered, that was this Uber driver's first day on the job. We could tell because he had no idea how to get out of the airport. He didn't even speak English, but that's neither here nor there. So the conversation was minimal at very best. We couldn't get out of the airport. This guy's trying to ask me for direction. I'm not from here. He's getting cussed out by every other Uber driver. We're kind of trying to put our heads down and our hands hiding our faces. It was embarrassing. You ever been in an Uber getting cussed out by every other Uber driver? How can you give this guy 5 stars? Well, I would have because I felt bad. That was up until this guy had to make a couple of pit stops along the way. Did we just get into this Uber? This guy's first day on the job but can't leave alone his prior employment, which potentially was dealing the narcotics. That's exactly what it felt like. It felt like our Uber driver was a drug dealer. Had to be me. Had to be me. Nonetheless, we got to the hotel and I tipped this guy $5. I felt bad for him. I really want to see him get beyond his old life and do it the legal way. So I gave him that pound puppy. We got to the hotel, it was late. My God, we didn't get to Seattle till late. It's a 3-hour time difference, so they're 3 hours behind. We got to Seattle at like 11 o'clock at night, or by the time we got to the hotel, it was 11. So back here in Virginia on the East Coast, it was really like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll be going to bed at 8 o'clock at night. I'm an old timer. 2 o'clock in the morning, I was tired. I was beyond asleep. And then for us to get to the hotel at 11 o'clock, we booked this thing on Expedia, this entire trip. You can bundle package your plane and your hotel. You can even throw a rental car in there if you want to. But we booked the entire trip on Expedia just for us to get to the hotel, and they tell us that they didn't have our reservations. Had to be me. Joe sure picked a good time to quit smoking as well. And mind you, as I'm filming this, I'm back. It's Tuesday. It's the 29th of October. Today actually makes 2 full weeks I've gone without a cigarette. It was on day number 12 that I finally started to not have the cravings. So kudos to that. The hotel was a very nice hotel. They would finally find our reservations. We would crash. That was it. We went straight to sleep. The next day we got up. It's time to start exploring this city, and we would do this. The next day would be Friday. We stayed till Monday. So we only had about 3 days to really check this place out, and we would do plenty of that. We would only Uber to the airport and back from the airport. That was the only 2 times we took an Uber. And the rest of the time we walked. Me and my wife walked. You can walk anywhere that you need to get to in Seattle. They've got The Pike Place Market, or the public market. Fresh food all over the place. Amazing coffee. There's a lot of really good coffee in Seattle. We went to a place called Top Pot Donuts every day that we were there. The best donuts I've ever had in my life, and also really good coffee. So even though the rent might be outrageous to live there, well, at least you don't got a car payment. You don't need a car. You can walk, you can Uber, you can bicycle, you can ride the train, the bus. There's a lot of ways to travel around Seattle. So even though you're paying a mortgage payment to live there, at least you don't need a car. But one thing we would definitely learn, and we learned this right off the rip, right after the first day of being there. After all of the walking we did on day number 1, folks, the bottom of my feet felt, well, they felt like I had been lost in the wilderness for like weeks, wandering, without shoes on. And I had relatively comfortable shoes on. I needed me some hiking boots. So if you go to Seattle, be prepared to do some walking. Make sure you got you some comfortable hiking boots. Not no tennis shoes, you're gonna need hiking boots, because there's a lot of hills and there's a lot of valleys. Now, mind you, as I'm sharing this story with you guys, I'm gonna critique Seattle, but I need you guys to keep this in mind as well. I don't want you to think I'm being some sort of an asshole. I got an opinion about everything, which I do. Okay, I'll be the first to admit that. I got an opinion about everything, but I'm gonna give it to you guys straight up. I wanna share with you guys about some of the food that we ate out there, and they got amazing places to eat. That was one of the biggest things that we wanted to do going there. Check out the restaurants, check out the food scene, be some foodies. Folks, we would go to this place for lunch. It was called Roscoe's. It was a pizza joint. Now, Seattle's not really known for pizza. And surprising, with as close to the water as they are, and how big seafood is out there, the sushi sucked as well. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'll get to that in a minute. Let me start with the pizza first. Folks, we get there, it's day number 1, we're eating some lunch. We go to a place called Roscoe's. We've got no plan or direction, we just end up there. So we go in here, and this is a fancy pizza joint, okay? This is a ritzy, this looks like where the Amazon execs go for lunch. Like a hipster's exec type of a scene for a pizza joint. So we go up in here, we sit down. The waiter is the bartender, and this guy, he's a little rude. But it's okay because, you know, Joe, this is day number 1 and Joe is trying to be patient. I quit smoking. I am trying to exhibit patience in my life. So the waiter would come up after bringing us some cucumber water. Never had that before in my life, but that was amazing. We drank some cucumber water. He comes up, he says, "Hey, would you guys like to put in some drinks?" I said, "Yeah, my wife would like a cocktail. What do you got for the cocktails?" The man says, "I told you when I brought you the cucumber water that the cocktails are listed inside of the book right there." I mean, you can't recommend nothing? Is what I'm thinking. But Joe's exhibiting the patience, so I don't know why I keep trying to throw up these fraudulent gang signs. I would try to exhibit the patience, so I would just, "Hey, you got it, you got it, you got it, you got it." I apologize, thank you very much. My wife would order a drink, I would order a drink, we would order some food. We ordered an appetizer first, which was essentially just meatballs. And folks, I swear to you on my life, the meatballs came out, there was 2 pieces of bread and a bowl with 4 meatballs in it. And on my piece of bread, there was a hair that was cooked into the bread. Okay, and I'm talking about a good size hair. I see this immediately as soon as they put this on the table. I even see the cook come out of the kitchen who's got long hair and no hairnet on. Maybe you don't need those in Seattle. I am ready to send this back. My wife saw it, she said, "Yo, we can send that back right now." I said, "No, I'm picking the hair out of my food. I pick off one whole corner of the bread because that's how long the hair was." I said, "It's okay." And I even ate that bread. I took a bite of it. It was so, I don't like toast, you know, like toasted bread. This was like as hard as a tabletop, and I definitely ain't eating that. But I don't complain about this at all. I don't complain about this. But I will say this, even though I maintain my composure, I tipped this man, you know, 30% or whatever, 33%, whatever I would tip him. This guy was a DEMFer. And from our heyday back on Twitch, you guys know what the hashtag DEMF is. That's what this guy was. So, you know, if there was somebody who was going to win that award out here in Seattle, it was the waiter at Roscoe's with the tattoos all over his arms. That guy with the ponytail or his hair pulled back in the man bun. That guy. Food was relatively good, though. So we did that. We would end up trying to check out some sushi because my wife and I, we're avid fans of the raw fish. And we would end up doing this for dinner. And I believe we did this on Friday night as well. We did this for dinner. And we would end up going to probably the fanciest sushi place in the city of Seattle. Now, I'm trying to remember what the name of this place was. It was called like Sushi, a Tushi, or something like that. I know that's not the name of it. I'm going to try to find it and include a picture of it right here. This place. Now, if you're just seeing my hand right here, that means that I haven't found the place, and we'll pretend like you're seeing a fancy sushi restaurant. So we would end up going to this super fancy place. Sushi, a Tushi, we'll call it that. We go in there, and mind you, it looks like all Jeff Benzino's up in here. Isn't Benzino, isn't that the CEO of Amazon? It looked like all of him up in there. Super fancy. We go in there, it's about 6 o'clock in the evening on a Friday night. Place is not busy at all. We see the host men, not host women, host men, 2 of them. And they were like, hi, hello, can we help you? Do you have a reservation? I tell them, no, I ain't got no reservation. They says, okay. Well, here's what we can do. We can try to get you in. We can squeeze you in between this reservation that takes place at 7 p.m. It's about 6:10 right now, but we can squeeze you in. You just got to be done and gone by 7 o'clock. I said, well, shit, I eat fast anyways. That's fine. We can do that. My wife thought I was going to have an issue with this, but I didn't. I didn't have an issue with the fact that, we didn't have a reservation. They were squeezing us in. I thought that was a nice thing that they did. What I did have an issue with is when we sat down at the damn table, there wasn't nobody in the restaurant. The table beside us was empty. The other table on the other side of us was empty. Where the f*** are these reservations at? Talking about you're going to squeeze us in. Now, folks, this menu was extensive. Their sushi list was not very extensive, but you could get like a la carte single pieces of fish, octopus, a shark tail, whatever you wanted, like super fancy. Well, one thing that they had on the menu was they had like option A and option B. And what this was they brought you certain pieces of food and certain like meal options with a wine. And this was expensive. One was like $75 a person. The other one was like $120. So I said, hey, what's up with that? I kind of want to try that. Me and my wife, we could wrap the arm, sip the wine, eat a shark tail. The waiter, who was exceptionally nice, so nice in fact that he was like a little weird. You ever had a waiter like that or a waitress? They're just a little too nice. You almost think like something might be wrong with them. Maybe it's just me. I told the waiter, the nice guy, I said, hey, look, we want to try option A right here, He says, look, hey, I'm sorry, but they told me y'all can't be here no later than till 7 o'clock. So that's off the table. That's not an option for y'all. Y'all gotta eat from the back of the menu, from the kids menu. It's almost what it felt like he was saying, but mind you, I'm not making a big deal out of this. I'm making more of a big deal as I'm explaining it to you guys, because that's how big of a deal it could have been. But it wasn't. They say in this life that everything happens for a reason, and folks, I truly believe that, because we would only end up ordering like 3 sushi rolls. One of them was like, like a spicy tuna, and then like some other, I can't tell you what they were. They had some weird names for these rolls. Folks, we got the rolls. They came out just as quick as we put them in. You would have thought we was at a Mexican restaurant. Y'all know how fast they be serving food at a Mexican restaurant? They be fast. Same exact way at this 5-star Sushi Bazushi. They brought out the rolls, we began to eat the food, and folks, we took the first bite of the first roll, and that stuff was disgusting. To give you guys an example, like to put the taste in your mouth of what I was experiencing eating this 5-star sushi roll, it was like eating Aggie's cat food. That's what this stuff was like. I'm eating this with a bitter beer face, trying to maintain my composure as I'm looking at the other table. There's a young man and a young woman eating the exact same thing, and they're not having a reaction that I am. Maybe they're used to this type of sushi out here on the West Coast. But on the East Coast, we do sushi a lot different than that. We make good sushi. This stuff out here, y'all right on the water too. Stuff was horrendous. I would only eat like 3 bites of 3 rolls, which was like 1 piece of each roll. My wife would do about the same. Before we would tell this waiter, it was now 6:21. We've been here for 6 minutes. Before I would tell this waiter, hey, look, we're ready for the check, man. Also, we ordered 2 drinks, 2 special cocktails. Horrendous. I've had better prison wine. And I'm not trying to degrade this place. It was a very nice place, but their food and drink menu was disgusting. And that's just keeping it funky with you guys. That is what it is. Maybe that's just a little too fancy for my taste palette and my wife's as well. The stuff was horrendous. And when we've only been there for 6 minutes and I'm telling the waiter we're ready for the check and all the sushi's right there and the man's asking me if we want a box for that, I'm trying to keep a straight face as I'm telling him, oh God, I wish we could put it in a box, but we're at a hotel. I don't know if you've ever stayed in a hotel and taken, sushi to go. It's just not a good look. Wonderful food, exceptional service, but we're good. And the check. Hurry up with that. Thank you. Other than that, the food was great. Other than those two experiences, food was amazing. Top shelf everything. We would end up going to, where else did we go to? We went to the Hard Rock in Seattle. That was really cool. We went to a place called Yard House in Seattle. They've got one of those here locally. It was cool to check that out. And going to the Yard House is like a sports bar, like a high-end sports bar. We went there on Sunday, and the Seahawks were playing the Falcons. They were out of town, though. They were in Atlanta playing the Falcons. Now, CenturyLink Park, which is where the Seahawks play, is literally right there in the heart of Seattle. So if Seattle was playing right there, you'd have heard it all through the city. And Seattle takes their Seahawks something serious. I got a lot of respect for Seattle and the way that they treat their team. They are diehard fans. Everywhere that you go, the game is on. People are like, yo, hey, Russell Wilson, he just got sacked again. What they doing? I saw that happen quite a bit, actually, even though they won. Seattle takes their Seahawks something serious. So we're sitting in this place called Yard House. We're sitting at the bar. We're drinking a beer. We're eating some lunch. And the Seahawks are playing nobody. They're playing the Falcons. And they're winning. Almost lost that game, which is crazy to think. The Patriots are about to play Cleveland. That's the game that's coming on next. They're advertising for it. And sitting beside us is a whole group of guys watching the Seattle game. And folks, I swear to you, as soon as they started advertising for the New England-Cleveland game, they started talking about the New England and Seattle Super Bowl. Where on 3rd and 4, Marshawn Lynch should have ran the ball. Why didn't Seattle run the ball? I mean, that's almost become like a meme on the internet. I see YouTube comments that say that all the time. Folks, I was literally hearing this conversation taking place right here before my eyes. I traveled 3,500 miles just to hear this conversation. Or at least, that's what I told these guys. I said, oh my God, I cannot believe you guys are talking about this. I'm a Patriots fan, for God's sakes, and this is amazing. Like, I'm a tourist. I'm only here on vacation, and I can't believe I'm actually hearing this conversation really take place in real life. I always knew that this conversation took place somewhere, especially in Seattle. But for the love of God, it's actually really happening. These guys got so mad. I thought I was about to get jumped. These guys got so mad because I'm laughing. I can't believe this. Where's my Snapchat? I gotta snap this. I don't even use that. They got so mad and probably like borderline embarrassed too. And don't get me wrong, I'm almost embarrassingly acting about this. I'm almost embarrassed at how I'm acting about this. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like giddy. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. But they were a little embarrassed too that they got caught. They got caught. And they would quickly clean it up by telling me, oh, we're not even from here. We're actually from New York. New York City. My, how that conversation changed quickly. Oh, well, I can't say nothing about your Giants. Y'all beat us twice in the Super Bowl. It was funny, too, because when we got to this place, Yard House, the game was on, the Seattle game was on, and the first thing that I said when I went in there, oh, God, it was classic. I said, let's go Atlanta! Hey, how about the Falcons, though? I got booed. Boo! Oh, you ain't trying to make no friends in here. Shut your executive ass up. No, you ain't gonna do nothing. Hardest you gonna hit is with a charge. Bang! Here's a felony. There's also one final thing that I want to share with you guys before I wrap this up, and that was the fact that there was a pool at the hotel. And there was a hot tub there as well. And, me and my wife, we didn't bring bathing suits, so we would have to go to a Target, which was 3 stories tall. They actually had an escalator for your cart. Never saw that before, but that was really interesting. We went to Target to buy bathing suits so we could go sit in the hot tub. I bought an extra large kitty cat pair of swimming trunks that would end up not fitting me. These were an extra large pair of swimming trunks. They wouldn't fit. I couldn't even get them tied. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I just quit smoking. Like, I know I haven't gained that much weight, have I? Before I would finally peel these skin-tight swimming trunks up off of me and realize that the hanger said extra large, but the tag on the bathing suit said schmedium. I was so upset about this. I was like, man, like, somebody got me. They played a trick on me. They probably laughing right now thinking about my fat ass trying to fit into a schmedium. Or maybe it was just an honest mistake. But I tell you what, I figured out a way to just tie them things up. The whole crotch was hanging out of them, and I still used them to go swimming. I wasn't embarrassed nor shy. Damn it, I wanted to get in the hot tub. Finally, folks, one final thing, and then we're going to wrap this up. I want to share with you guys this CD that I got hounded to purchase while in Seattle. On the cover of the CD, it's a blank CD, not even any writing on it, not a scratch on it either. The cover of this thing says, "Everything's for sale." It's got a little barcode. It says sale. It's got some words across the top. It says, "Always Talking Money Entertainment presents." Sale. Everything's for sale. I'm guessing Sale is this dude's rap name. We've got some songs. There's actually 16 tracks on this supposed CD. Rap Star number 1. Number 2 is Ain't Nothing Like It. Number 3, Never Had It. Number 4, On My Dresser. Number 5, One in the Chamber. I won't go any further. You guys get the gist of this. Me and my wife were walking down the streets. A guy walked up to me. He says, "Hey, you want to buy my CD? Hey, you trying to buy my CD?" I'm really trying to get past this guy. Excuse me, look, before he finally pulls my wallet out of my back pocket for me, damn near is what it felt like. I had a $20 bill. That was all I had. I had $25 in cash on me when I went to Seattle. I gave a $5 tip to our drug dealing Uber. And I gave the other 20 to this guy for this dumbass CD right here. Everything's for sale. Folks, as soon as I pulled out my wallet and that $20 bill, it was almost like the seagulls and the bread. Drop some bread on the ground, you're going to see them seagulls for real. Folks, as soon as I pulled out my wallet and that $20 bill, 2 other people approached me immediately. Another guy, he's like, "Yo, what's your name? What's your name? Hey, what's your name, kid? What's your name?" I said, "My name's Joe." "Joe?" He's like, "Yo, Joe, this is for you. I just signed this." I said, "Look, man, I ain't got no more money. I got the CD in my hand." I said, "I ain't got no more money. I've been trying to tell you that the entire time you're pulling out the Sharpie, signing my name to this thing." The man took the damn CD back. Oh, man. There was also a girl that came up to me. "Hey, yo, buy my CD too. Buy my CD too." I said, "I ain't got no more money. Okay, I just bought Everything's for Sale for $20. It's probably a freaking blank CD." That was a little uncomfortable right there. It was a little uncomfortable. It was after I bought this CD that I thought to myself, first of all, how in the hell am I ever going to even attempt to try to see if there's even songs on this thing? Who's got a CD player? I don't have one in my house at all or in a storage unit full of 30 storage units. Actually, I probably got one over there. I really want to hear this CD. 1, to know if there's songs on it. And then 2, to turn this into something a little more entertaining than the 16 tracks on this. 16 is called You Don't Understand. 15 is called I Do Dat. D-A-T. I Do Dat. Folks, what my game plan would be, is there's some social media information, you know, how to reach Sale. His Twitter, I looked up at The Real Sale. That's his Twitter handle. He hasn't been active on Twitter since 2015. Facebook, Sale ATM. Doesn't that sound for something that you might find on a nefarious website, ATM? And then an Instagram as well. Folks, the trip to Seattle was amazing. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. I haven't seen the West Coast since I was little. I mean, really little. I lived in California. My father was in the military, so we lived in California. I don't really remember too much about it. Never seen Seattle. Seattle is also the closest to out of the country that I could possibly get without going to Alaska. But it was right there, right next to Canada. You know, it's crazy to think, damn, I can't leave the country. This is the farthest that I can get. But it was an amazing experience. A time for me to be able to take a breath, sit back, appreciate the fact that I quit smoking, appreciate my wife, appreciate this life. It was a beautiful, amazing place with awesome food, minus the sushi and that Roscoe's pizza place. You know, if you guys ever get an opportunity to go visit there, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of things to do. They've got museums. They've got plenty of stuff to do there because it's always raining. So they got to have stuff to do. A really awesome place. I'm really grateful that I got the opportunity to go there. I'm ready to get right back to work right now. We've got so much to do. And I'm refreshed and energized to get back into everything that we do here. And I'm also very grateful that I get this opportunity to share all of this with all of you. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little field trip in your mind. And if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about all of this. And if you did, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about all of this. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!